The conflicts in Russia and Gaza have overshadowed a speech to the European Parliament by the bloc's most powerful political official. During her State of the Union address in Strasbourg, Commission President Ursula von der Leyen said she would seek sanctions and a partial trade suspension against Israel over its actions in Gaza. She also condemned the drone incursion in Poland and outlined her policy initiatives to lawmakers and assessed the challenges facing the EU. The European Commission, as the executive branch, can propose laws but needs the backing of the European Parliament and member states. And over to DW's Jack Parrick in Strasbourg. Jack, what did von der Leyen have to say about both Russia and Ukraine?
Well, it's a really interesting one. She was calling this Europe's Independence Day, trying to get European countries, persuade the European Parliament that this is a moment that Europe can step up, completely wean itself off Russian fossil fuels. And also, interestingly related to the drone attacks into Poland, she talked about going into some kind of drone alliance with Ukraine. Ukraine is obviously very advanced technologically when it comes to drones because of the war that is being waged against it by Russia. She got a broad sort of level of applause for her positions on this issue, which one would expect. She's been relatively strong in the response to Russia and she's continuing to push for that. She called the images of the meeting between Vladimir Putin, the Russian president, and the US President Donald Trump in Alaska. She said that that was hard to digest. And like many of the members of the European Parliament here, she is keen for Europe to start being able to defend itself more autonomously rather than continuing to rely on the United States for its structured defense.
And then also on Israel, how hard would you say she's come down on it for its conduct in Gaza?
Yeah, I think this was the most interesting thing and what most of the members of the European Parliament were looking at. How hard would she be on Gaza? I've spoken to quite a few of the MEPs after the speech. Many of them are pretty pleased with what she said. She said that the European Commission will suspend its bilateral ties with Israel. So essentially what the European Commission can do, it can't stop the member states or force the member states to act in a particular way. She said that they would partially suspend the trade agreement, the EU-Israel Association Agreement, which underpins all of the trade relations with Israel. And she said she would call and propose for all of the countries to sanction Israel's most extremist ministers and violent settlers in the West Bank. She got a broad set of applause for that. A lot of the MEPs that I spoke to when they came out said, finally, the European Commission is doing something. That was their position. But it seems she has satiated a large swathe of most of the sort of central collective of political parties here. How she can enact those policies that she said in this State of the Union speech, whether she can force the member states of the European Union to follow her lead on this, now that is certainly another question.
Very interesting stuff. Jack Parrick in Strasbourg for us.